G'day, mates. If you consume footy sports media anything like me, you'll know our next mate, a hockey roo, a Collingwood magpie. She's an Adelaide kid, made good, as well as an incredibly impressive media performer and personality. I'd like to welcome our mate, Georgie Parker. Thank you for clapping, Tom. Hi.
Georgie Parker, second of her name.
Yes, because can we talk about the more famous Georgie Parker? Not the more famous.
No, she is more famous.
The older. For our parents, maybe.
Yeah.
She was in All Saints and Home and Away.
Gold Logie winner.
Yeah.
Yeah. More impressive.
I put her in the era of John Howard because he was also in All Saints, not the politician, but the actor John Howard. And I put her with Sigrid Thornton. In fact, if I put a photo of Sigrid Thornton and Georgie Parker next to each other, it would take me a minute to figure out and decipher which one's which.
Which one's which?
And then Claudia Carvan as well.
You're throwing a whole lot of names at me that I probably should know, but I don't.
Claudia Carvan was, where was she from? Secret Life of Us.
Oh, yes.
And Love My Way.
Yeah.
And Sigrid Thornton.
The good era of Australian TV.
Yes. What are you talking about? We're living through it. and then I got to finish this now in my head. Sea Change is Sigrid Thornton.
Yes.
Diver Dan, who's David Wenham, and the other guy, Will. Fuck. Anyway, and then Georgie Parker is All Saints and Home and Away.
That's a nice insight into your brain there, Broden.
Yes. But that's not why you're here. And that's been today's episode. Imagine just for 3.5 minutes of me doing IMDb to you.
7.7.
Yeah. Yes. I've just spent the last 2 weeks with you because you were the commentator for the Olympics because you were an athlete you are an Olympian.
I am an Olympian.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was a long time, 8 years ago now, and I'm actually getting my Olympic tattoo ring removed from my body, and I think that means now I'm not going to be an Olympian anymore because it's illegal to not have it.
Why did you get it in the first place?
I don't know. I wish I didn't. It's a bit obnoxious where it is. Like if I'm holding a drink, it's like right there in your face. Like, hey, I think I'm better than you. You normie.
And so you're getting it lasered off because it's too prominent?
Yeah, it's a bit annoying. People talk to you
about the Olympics.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, you won a medal, right? And I go, oh, no. And then they look at you for a minute of pity.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, but no, it's pretty cool that you went. Yeah, like good trying. And it's just like, thanks. But you do get a participation certificate when you go to the Olympics. Like you quite literally get a participation certificate.
But that's a participation certificate. Not only is that a hard thing to say for me, but it's a participation certificate. That's for an Olympian. That's actually quite a good one. It's not like you finished year 6 and you graduated primary school.
Well, but it comes about 4 months later, and I just open this and I'm like, what's this? And I open, I'm like, awesome, thanks for reminding me I came 5th. Like,
is it from the IOC or is it from the Australia?
I'm pretty sure it's the IOC.
Great.
I'm pretty sure. It's somewhere crumpled. I've not put it up next to the degree, you know.
And you've got you've got the rings, but is that a laser round?
What do you mean?
Has that been lasered at all?
Yes, I've had 3 sessions.
That's 3 sessions?
That's 3 sessions, yeah.
Because you know how sometimes you see on TikTok, where I live.
You're way too old for TikTok.
Online. Where there's a guy with his tattoos all over his face and you see the session where they're taking them off.
Yeah,
and the skin immediately blisters.
Freaks out.
And I imagine that was just one round.
Oh, no.
How many rounds?
No, I had a friend that had like 10. She was getting one off her back. She had 10 rounds and it was still there to the point that she just goes, I just put the tattoo back on because it was taking too long.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
That's actually...
Think before you ink.
Well, no, because I've got one on my right buttock and one on my left buttock, and one is the ABC logo and one is the Netflix logo, and I did them both.
Don't want Channel 7 at the moment?
No, I don't want Channel 7. I don't want Fox. I don't want Samsung Plus. I don't want YouTube. But I was like, I did them with the idea of I could always get them off.
Well, I had one removed here that took 3 sessions and is off. Obviously, it was a smiley face because that's what you want on your body. Was
that a Bali trip situation? Or?
No, I was in Adelaide. We'll get into Adelaide later on. I was at Adelaide at the Woolshed. We've all been to the Woolshed. Haven't you?
What's the Woolshed?
The Woolshed is the dirtiest bar in Adelaide.
No,
it is.
Okay.
It's got Bundy and Coke on tap. It's got a rotating dance floor.
Is this the one that Marmalade managed? Do you know that? They managed one of those ones on Hindmarsh Street.
Hindley Street. It's got a mechanical bull.
Okay, yeah, I think it is that one.
I think it might be.
There you go.
That's the one that the Marmalade Boys managed.
Well,
that's where they met.
It's a fine establishment.
Okay.
It's a funny one, but I was there. Then went and got a tattoo, then got a kebab, then went home. That's the order.
Shit, yeah.
They're like next to each other.
Is it near that KFC as well that does really well on Hindley Street?
That KFC is a wild. It's a zoo down Hindley Street. It's very small, but my goodness, go there over Gather Round.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's a zoo.
I didn't go down there for Gather Round, but I did grow up in South Australia. Where did you grow up in South Australia?
Well, I grew up in a tiny little town called Berry. It's
yeah.
Where
the juice is from.
Yep. Where the juice is from. The one with the I, not with the Y.
Yeah.
And
it's a different thing.
It's a different place. It's a funny little town on the river.
It's up north to the right.
Yeah, northeast.
So it's almost on the border, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on the way to the border. So it's closer to Adelaide than Melbourne, but it's close to Victorian border. But
yep, and you're near like a Swan Hill and a kind of situation.
I don't even know how long it'll take to get there.
I'm just bluffing. I'm bluffing.
No, I don't. Yeah.
It's
on the way like to Majura.
Banrock Station.
Sure, let's go with that. I don't know. Anyway, I lived there till I was at high school and then came to the city.
We're both 35. Did you have to do
You don't have to tell everyone that.
Yeah. Yes. You look better for 35 than I do.
Well, that's the thing. You get to a point when you grow up, when you're getting older. When I was turning 30, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to turn 30. Now it's like a bit of a when you get to the point, you're like, no, I think I look pretty good for my age. I love telling people I'm 35 because like, oh, you don't look it.
Yeah, that's it.
It's a bit of an ego thing.
Do you know what? What I've experienced as someone who doesn't have hair is I looked 35 when I was 22. And so I've kind of stayed. Do you think I've stayed the same age?
Yeah, you absolutely have. You look young for your age now, but you looked old for your age earlier.
Like I was walking around at 23 going, what's going on?
Maybe that was
I'm
right.
kind of still doing that. But then also I was losing my hair, but I didn't have the initiative to shave it yet properly.
Well, that's quite a big thing to do that, right?
Yeah.
I've got a question for a man with
yes.
not much hair or no hair.
Yeah.
You. Do you get when people abuse their hair and their haircuts? Does that frustrate you as a man who can't grow it?
I said it to him the other day. So he's this guy will have hair until he dies. Looking at Tom,
thick. It's a thick.
And talking about the mohawk, and I feel like the mohawk or this bullshit of where like the dusty where you shave the sides of your head is offensive to me.
Yes.
Because it's saying I'm gonna grow it in the one spot you can't grow it.
Yeah.
And I think that's rude. But I can't imagine having hair anymore. I've been so long without hair that like apart from being less attractive to a lot of people.
Well, it's not subjective though.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
I disagree with that.
There's a few hot baldies out there.
Yeah, you looked much worse with hair. Like I am, mate. Like I have some photos of you when you're 12, but like, you know, but no never see the surface.
In hindsight, no one looks good in you 12.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I have a friend who I saw
Congrats.
them. Yeah, I swear I do. And they, I was like, hey, your hair looks. You got a haircut? And he said, no, this is plugs. And what? And do you know how they do plugs now?
They go to Turkey.
Yes,
yeah.
I think you can do it here, but it just costs more.
They take a strip. I have a friend who works in the media, and I won't say his name, but has a friend who got a Warnie. Shane Warne gave him a promo code to go to.
A promo code from Warnie?
Yeah, and he loves it. He shows photos, but he gets a bit of it cut out the back, a hair transplant, and then he puts it on the front, and then it like grows like you. Like so, it's like a lawn. Like you know what I mean? Like you're taking a bit of your bit of your lawn and putting it somewhere, and then it like.
But
grows.
how does that make sense? Because
because that hair can grow.
But what about my hair?
I'm a GP. Trust me.
Yeah, but
I would know.
Why was the hair? Why? It's a bit like if the soil of the turf is like poisoned. That's what I assume would happen.
It's like a graft, though. It's like a skin graft, right?
Oh, they replace the skin.
Yeah, they take the whole piece. They take like a big chunk of your hair, including the skin. They don't just like chop off your.
I thought that's what they were doing, and then like braiding it in.
No,
that's what I thought.
No,
yeah.
like they take it from the skin and take your skin and put it there, and it's like
it's a skin graft.
It's like a hair graft. That's what I'm pretty sure. Okay, nobody quote me on this. I don't work for Ashley and Martin, and I don't think Warnie's promo code works anymore.
In 2021, that would be dark if it did work. In 2021, Mosh approached me to do a collab and grow my hair back, and I sat on it for about 4 hours where I was like, be pretty funny to just come back with a full head of hair like
Real
Homer.
George Costanza from Seinfeld.
Yeah, I was bald, but I decided not to because I think it's fine to not have hair.
Yeah.
And it annoys me. I'm starting to see it. Like 10 years ago, there was more bald dudes.
George is getting angry.
Yeah, George is getting upset. Broden's getting upset, and I'll throw haymakers. There was more people who were bald, and now there's just a lot of guys walking around real quiet, just sort of just not saying anything. People who would go, oh yeah, I'm thinning, and then that one day they just stop saying it. And I think I'm talking to you if you did it. You're a liar.
Well,
And they all say the same thing. They're all like, oh, I've got a bad-shaped head. Bull fucking shit. You got a fine-shaped head. You got a beautiful head. How did we get here?
I like this tangent. I actually often say this. Women have to go through a whole lot of shit. And I think that we can appreciate this.
Yes.
But we don't go bald.
No.
So, like, that is one thing that we have on you.
I'll remove this from you entirely. I'm talking about people very close to me and lots of women very close to me. A lot of them have had work done. Mm-hmm. But then don't talk about it at all. Like, I don't know about it. And then I'll say, hey, my friend got this. And they'll go, yeah, me too. I've had this and this and this. Like, holy shit. It's so prominent. It's a huge industry.
Well, I got told, I put a picture up and someone's like, oh, your face is full of fillers and Botox. I was like, well, I can move my face. I don't have any of that.
Yeah.
And then my friend goes, it's actually a bit of a compliment. Like,
Yeah.
until you've been accused of having procedures you haven't had done.
Yeah.
Are you even hot?
But then you also had it.
Like,
You did. I'm fine. It's a fine thing.
Oh,
I was shocked.
exactly.
But I was. You did a post yesterday where half your face was done up and half your face was makeup.
full of makeup.
Yeah.
You wear a lot of makeup on TV. It is thick.
Yeah.
And then you're like, come off, you get all this off me. I'm a different person when you're wearing full makeup,
Yeah.
also perfect lighting.
Yeah.
What the world should just be perfect front-on lighting.
Yes.
That's what it should be. I don't want any of this downlight stuff. Be a bit like Mariah Carey. You know how she won't go underneath fluorescence. That's what I want to be.
They put makeup on me when I go on TV all the time, but you can't kind of tell on TV. But they kind of sometimes make me yellow.
Yeah.
Like they have a bad, like, because I'm translucent. Like my skin color is like
See-through.
with veins.
Yeah, no.
Like you should color in veins on my face. Like a fish from like 40,000 leagues down where it doesn't.
You know the underworld's wild, isn't
Yeah.
it? With the eyes popping out.
Yeah, like a light bulb coming off my head
That
kind of
freaks
skin
me out.
color.
That's not good.
But how did we get here?
You said that you and Georgie were the same age.
Yes.
There we go.
That's how you got
And
there.
we both look young, I think is what we were
that's
saying. But did you do the state choir in Adelaide?
I didn't do the state choir. I was in the choir at school.
Yeah.
I was a music nerd at school.
Did you have to do that state choir where you go and perform at the festival centre with all the other primary schools around Adelaide?
No,
That would have been funny if we were in that
we were together.
Because we had to do this big choir, and it was good.
What were you? You a tenor?
I don't know. I had a high voice at the time. I was like, I'm Broden. No, I was like, I'm Broden Kelly. Stop mucking around. Did you like growing up in South Australia and Adelaide?
It's funny. Like, it's a slow place. It's a beautiful place to live as a family. I wouldn't want to live there now as a person without kids doing my life.
Speaking of gather round, it got a bit trendy. Like when you walk down Rundle Mall now, they got like a bubble tea.
Nice. I remember when I moved out of Berry and then I was speaking to my friends. This is how funny, like, little towns and little cities get excited over little things.
Yeah.
My friend from Berry, tiny town, 3,500 people, really small. And I was like, oh, what's going on in Berry? Like, oh, we got a Subway. And I'm like, oh,
shit, yeah.
We didn't have a McDonald's, didn't have anything, but she was so stoked about the Subway.
That's the thing with Rottnest Island out in Perth.
I lived in WA for 10 years.
Shit,
God, it's a weird place.
So you go to Rotto and then you get on that island and it's a mass grave for First Nations people. Horrible place. It's fucked up and people just go there to go to the beach now. But also there's a Subway on there. There's one Subway and everyone's like, this Subway's fucking sick.
And it does pizza.
And it does. It's the only Subway
It is
that
a
does
beautiful
pizza.
place.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
Yeah.
We did a comedy festival actually on there where we did the same show 4 times in a day over and over and over. It was like, this is a fucked island.
How was the last show compared to the first, energy-wise?
It was us, Akmal Saleh.
Akmal. I've not heard of Akmal in a while.
Yeah, it was us, Akmal, and a bunch of Perth comedians just doing the same 10 minutes, and the crowds just got smaller and smaller as the day went on. And there was just quackers walking into the...
They like to laugh too.
Yeah, they're not afraid of anything.
No,
Did you know that?
That's because they've got no predators.
No.
They're just like over there living their life. There was one that escaped Rottnest and ended up on one of the ferries and then ended up on the mainland and then it had to be quarantined on its way back and stuff.
Had to go into hotel quarantine. Well, this is bullshit. Mark McGowan's a dog. What were we fucking talking? Oh, yeah, Adelaide. Great. Adelaide has got it in a bit
like
trendy.
Adelaide. Yeah, it is. It's a cool little city. It's good for a weekend. That's about all you need. But it's great for like families and stuff.
You're a Crows fan.
Yeah.
Are you like you're a hardcore Crows fan?
I, as a little kid, well, there was obviously no women to watch. No, this is what's crazy. My mum, I was so obsessed with the Crows. I wanted to be a little boy so bad. I was like, Mum, and I cut my hair. I was like, I want to cut my hair like my favourite player.
Yep.
Sean Wren.
Sean Wren?
Sean Wren.
Do you remember Sean Wren, Tom?
I might Google. I'm not looking at my phone.
Number 52, he is a ruckman. And this was before ruckmans were cool. Like, ruckmans are cool now. We've got like Gorney and Grundy and Draper. We've got cool ruckmans now. This was before ruckmans were cool. And I was like, Mum, I want to cut my hair like him. And she's like, well, how about Tony Modra? Because it's a bit longer.
Mullets. Yeah.
And I went and got it. She said no clippers, but I could get it really cut short. And when I'd walk down the street and they'd be like, oh, there's a little boy. I would be like, Mum, don't tell them I'm a girl. Don't tell them I'm a girl. I just wanted to be a little boy so bad. I was obsessed with the Crows, been a member since I was a kid, played obviously 3 high-quality games for Collingwood. And I told my grandpa, who was 99 at the time, I was like, I'm playing for Collingwood. And he literally just goes, ugh, not Collingwood, anyone but Collingwood.
That's good. I'm glad you left him with that. That's good.
Yeah, well, he didn't make it to my first game, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, fair enough.
He was flat as anything, but I've been a big Crows fan. But I signed with Collingwood in 2017 and then played in 2018. And so my last game before I played for Collingwood was the 2017 grand final. So it was a great time to jump off their bandwagon for a second because, my God, it's been tough. It's been a tough little follow.
I was going to say, you had offers from Adelaide to play for Adelaide.
Yeah, it's one of those times. It's season 2 and everyone was trying to get a lot of athletes to come on over. But
and you were like, I'll only play, I'm number 1, so Aaron Phillips got to get out. That's what you said.
I want to be the only Olympian.
I'm the big dog. Let her out. And I need a hockey stick.
I wanted to, because I wanted to work in the media. I was like, wow, you need Collingwood. Having Collingwood backing is, unfortunately.
Collingwood W players are heavily represented, from Chloe Malloy when she was there to Slice now, to netball star Shani, Shani Layton.
Yes.
A lot of Collingwood representation.
Yeah, well, it's just a big brand. They love getting it. So, Crows fan.
But yes, so I want to ask you about Crows.
Okay.
If Crows were, what music are the Adelaide Crows? If they're a band or music?
Oh, it's a really good question. They're not quite cool, so they're not cool music.
I think they're Imagine Dragons.
Yeah.
They don't have to be from Adelaide. But this is where I start. Tell me what you think. Like, I think of them as like big daggy pop group.
Yes, 100%, but not in the top 40 at the moment. They were at one stage.
Taxi Ride?
Yeah, and they have one good song.
Okay,
and everyone's like, yeah, I'll get around that, but then the rest of it's pretty lame.
That works, like a band who had a number 1 hit in 1998 or 1997 and then had another one that was pretty good. And then Savage Garden?
Do you know, on this is complete tangent, Hunters and Collectors, Mark Seymour lives in my building. So
get out of here.
So I'm always seeing him in my lift and I'm just like,
Holy Grail. Hey, Holy Grail. We used to live next door. Our old office was next door to where his daughter lived.
Right. I didn't
Who else knows anything about Mark Seymour?
It's a small fucking world, isn't it? Because you live in the building with a guy whose daughter lived next door where we worked. Can you fucking leave that?
Oh, crazy.
Okay, what food is Adelaide?
What
Crows.
Food is Adelaide. It's want to be fancy, but not that good. Because they're a bit fancy. Adelaide.
They say what's the words like Castle Plaza.
Yeah. What?
And Snowtown.
Snowtown. Well, we're a bit fancy. We're the posh ones. It's like the Eagles.
Yeah.
Overpriced.
Yeah, overpriced.
But not that good.
Oh, this is a good overpriced, but not that good is good.
Like grilled?
Grill, man.
They're grilled. They're grilled, and I don't mind grilled.
And bogans love them.
You don't mind it, and every now and then it hits.
And some people...
And I love my team, but we're that team,
And there's a daggy couple who are like, let's go out for grilled.
Yes. 100% from the suburbs.
And we'll get grilled on the way.
It's a treat. And it's okay. It's a treat. It can be... It's widely known.
Grilled and Taxi Ride. And if they're an actor, who are they?
if they're an actor, Australian actor?
Doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to be. Let's workshop this again.
I when I think of an Adelaide person, I picture respectfully, like when I go to Adelaide, I'm in big trouble here. I'm not going back.
I want you to.
When I go to Adelaide, the first thing I think when I get off the plane, every time,
bit tragic,
is what's with all the old people.
Yeah,
there's more old people.
Yeah, it's because they don't leave.
In Adelaide
and
versus young people.
And, okay, there's more old people, and it is so slow. Even their scooters are slow.
Yeah.
Like, you're on a scooter, they go 8 kilometres an hour on their, like, e-scooters.
That's true. I hope they don't get rid of theirs. Melbourne's getting rid of theirs.
I heard that.
I'm going to do my nut.
I'm going to write a letter to the council.
Oh, yeah, me too. I don't have a right.
Everyone who listens, write a letter to the council.
I'm going to do my nut. But I love Adelaide. Like,
yeah, me too. Me too, but I think it's like a charming kind of love of like, oh, okay, that's cute. I'm going to leave you now.
Yes. I left Adelaide in 2002 because of the attacks and of 2001. And and we moved back to Melbourne. And when I left Adelaide, new metal was the thing. So Linkin Park and Korn, but also hip hop was Eminem, American Pie are all the sort of cultural cornerstones. Mm-hmm. And I was like, so I associate those kind of movements with Adelaide and the look of them and the haircuts and the shirts. And then I left for 20 years and I was there. I was walking through Adelaide for the Cabaret Festival, not to brag.
Okay, well,
humble brag.
No wonder why it was full of the oldies.
Yeah, exactly.
See, they're really good at doing things really well for a short period of time.
Yes. Yeah.
They commit to it. They go, do you know what? This is going to be the best fringe in the country.
Yes.
And they commit, gather around, we're going to do this so well. Then they finish and like, oh my God.
Like ghosts.
And they need to rest and just go, that was really hard. And they stop and they need to recover to do it again. They can't
really
be like Melbourne that they do it all the time. Like Melbourne just go, yeah, it's easy. Come on, we can add that. That's cool. And it's continual. We could do lots of things overlapping. Adelaide do something really well and then need to rest.
That's like an old person.
They hibernate. Yeah, 100%. It's a 5 p.m. nap time.
We're going to go out for dinner, but we'll be home by 7.
Yeah.
That's it.
Anyway, so I went back and I was like, hang on, everyone's still dressed like new metal and hip hop is the thing. What I associate with these things is actually just how South Australian, 24-year-old dudes dress. Like, it's all waiting at a bus stop, dressed in Linkin Park stuff. And I was like, I want to come back and move here. These are my people. Why did I ever leave?
How funny is the bus that turns into a train thing?
Into an accordion.
Yeah, it's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
And they had, a lot of people don't know this, they had the one-way expressway.
There was a road
that went one way for half the day. Then for 2 hours of the day, it stopped. You couldn't go on it. Everyone had to get off one end. Then they'd turn it around the other way.
Oh my God.
My childhood my experience of living in Adelaide as a child is just this. The whole fucking place had a hyper fixation on whales at Victor Harbour and whether they were there or not. So there's this
for 1 month a year.
Yeah, and there was a guy called Keith Martin who was on the news. He was the weatherman, and every day they'd just be like, "There's a whale at Victor Harbour, shit!" And then the next day, no whales today.
You've got to get excited for it.
I don't know if they still do that, but they were so obsessed with whales.
Yeah, I left a long time ago, but then I went to Perth, and Perth do the same thing. But it's like Nick Nat Nui bought a PlayStation. So it's whatever he did.
What did Nick Nat do?
Yeah, legit. They hyper fixate on a couple of their AFL players, and then that's it.
We never got an actor, but I'm going to say for Adelaide, Paul Giamatti.
Oh, hilarious.
Like a character actor, really charming, but a big dork.
Yeah. And they do some things really, really well.
Yes.
That's what Adelaide does good wineries.
Yeah. Paul Giamatti, and he's in Sideways, which is a wine movie.
I don't know Paul, but is he good just for short
You know Paul
periods?
Giamatti. Okay.
No, I know Paul, but I don't know him personally.
Oh, you don't know Paul?
No, I don't know Paul. I don't know Paul personally. Is he short doses? Some people are just short doses.
He is great as a lead in some films, but he's also in Big Mama's House as a comedic side, or he's in, Big Fat Liar as the wolf. And he's in... Are we about
to do this again like you did at the start of this?
He doesn't have any crossover with with Georgie Parker, though. where were we going? We were talking about, and so you play hockey.
Yeah. Welcome to my brain. My brain does the same thing, by the way. This is why things take so long to get done.
Yeah. I haven't had hair transplant. Now, so you're in Adelaide, you're in Berry. I was going to call, your nickname should be the Fruit Fly.
The Fruit Fly?
Yeah, because you lived in a berry.
Oh, there we go. Very good. I get called Peter Parker.
Why?
Because my last name's Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's simple.
You could be from the multiverse.
I could be.
In that you're...
But there's lots of people that live in Berry.
Yeah, but a fruit fly lives in a berry. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but lots of people live in a berry.
In a berry. Because there's actually 2 towns of Berry.
What do you mean?
Well, because there's the other Berry.
Rasp?
Well, no, there's a Berry in New South Wales.
Is there?
With a
Is that the
Y,
one
though.
I'm thinking of? Well, you have the juices.
With the juice.
Great. Well, then that's all I need to
Yes.
know. I don't want to know about the other one.
This is riveting.
I don't want to hear about the other berry. And if you bring it up again, I'll snap.
Yeah.
But you play... I don't want to hear about this New South Welsh berry. Anyway, so did you grow up wanting to play hockey?
No, well, that's why I cut my hair like Sean Wren. I wanted to play footy.
Yeah, right.
Like, of course. And I was that era. And I think so many people my age would have that same story of like, I wanted to play footy. And they're like, well, you can't, sorry.
When did you have to stop?
Well, I could never. So, because
Really?
I was in a tiny little town that was only, no girls obviously played, and the youngest boys team was an under 15 boys team. And my mum's like, there is no one putting a 7-year-old girl into that. So I did footy clinics when they came down, which Sean Wren came to, probably why I was obsessed with
Sean
him.
Wren. Do you remember he did his knee on the firm bit of ground at Adelaide?
Don't talk to me about that.
At West Lakes.
Yeah, it was the thing that they bounced the cap on. They bounced it on in the middle of the ground.
They had
put
a firm
plastic,
bit.
Yeah, they put a plastic thing down so they could bounce it up. And I think I'm pretty sure
He ran into it and did his knee.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he sued the AFL for that.
Yeah, he should
Right.
probably
Yeah.
would have.
I hope
And he
so.
went to Queensland and started a fruit farm,
There you go.
I think.
Let's go with it.
I think that I saw that on Front Borough a while ago.
Let's go with it.
Yeah.
Couldn't play. And then Mum's like, oh, well, you're annoying. Like, I was a really annoying kid, like, full of energy. So she's like, go and run around. Here's a hockey stick. I played hockey. Go.
Your mum played hockey?
Yeah, not very well.
Yeah, but you had
she
the
played.
stick.
So she's just like, here, just go and play. Played with $20 stick that we found from Sports Co. and went down and I loved it. I really did love it, but I wouldn't have played had footy been an option for me because I
Right.
loved tackling. I loved being rough. That's why I couldn't play netball because I used to get in the way and these contact, all that bullshit.
Can I ask some preliminary
Yeah,
dorky
go for
questions about hockey before we get into your career and the details of it? So the first being, have you ever seen someone swing back and hit someone else in the face with the stick?
Multiple times, yeah.
'Cause
Well, one of the hockey boys in Paris
Which one?
got hit with...
I only know one of them.
Yes. From the Coca... That's a
Yes,
different team. That's the
yeah.
Kookaburras. not the
Okay, right,
Kookaburras.
yeah.
No, so it got hit with this follow-through of the stick and end up his finger getting so jammed that he had to get his finger amputated.
Oh, yeah, I saw that guy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, I looked with all the doctors, it's all good, I
Yeah.
got rid of it, I did the Daniel Chick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so it happens a lot.
Yeah. It's a pretty brutal sport. The ball's pretty hard. The stick's pretty hard. You're getting in pretty close to people. It's one of those contact sports, you know?
I played it in year 7. And
Were you any good?
This is true.
Well, I would expect you not to lie to me.
Yeah,
Broden.
this is completely true story. It's 2002. We're playing in Reservoir against, I guess, Reservoir High. It's September 11. I'm not making this up. And we're like, out of respect, we need to put bands on, but we only had green bands. So we want green bands of respect.
It's quite funny.
In 2002. What were we doing? Anyway, but my second question is, the fields are covered in sand. Why is that?
Well, most aren't. So if they're a lot of suburban ones in Australia are covered in sand because
Yeah.
we don't want to use much water, but mostly it's water.
Right.
Because if it's not watered, it's really sticky. So your feet get stuck and you'll do your knee. The ball bounce.
Okay.
The ball bounce is the safety thing. So
a div.
yeah, if it's too, if there's nothing on it. So the sand either acts as like a thing for stuff to roll over. But
Yep.
mostly, I play in water mostly. Well, I did.
Water?
So it's, artificial turf and they water it. So the sprinkler came on in the gold medal match in the final. It's quite funny. But yeah, it's sprinkler. It looks so stupid that they're putting a 6-minute watering system on.
So you just kept building it. I will get back to being serious. to the best of my ability. But when did you know you wanted to pursue it quite sincerely? And
I said to Mum when I was 11, I'm going to go to the Olympics. And she's like, okay.
That's sick.
Okay, of course you are. And I did a little school project because it was the Sydney Olympics.
Breakdancing wasn't on yet.
No. I could never think of the name Raygun. What would your breakdancing name be? Because they all get to choose their breakdancing name. So I was looking at the sheet and it was so funny. They all had these really cool names. And then there was one guy with Trevor.
I was going to say, I would genuinely go Broden Kelly. I think that's the funniest thing I could do. Broden John Kelly. What would you be?
I said G-Spot, but apparently they said that it wouldn't get too many highlights. And you want to get the primetime highlights.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Tom Dom.
Yeah. I thought you could be B-Boy Broden.
B-Boy Broden. But they're all B-boys and G-girls or something, aren't they?
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Fly girls.
God, that was...
Funk MC.
Honestly, quite seriously, I think the funniest thing I've ever seen.
It was. Oh well, I missed it entirely, and but I've seen. I saw her at the closing ceremony going off, doing genuinely great breakdancing at the thing, and I was like, well, okay.
What ads do you predict her being on? She's going to be on. You're a Mr. Ad Boy at the moment.
I was going to say,
I'm like, Jeepers Creepers. He's a bit bored.
I'm taking a break. She'll be in.
Heaps of ads, won't you? Dare to be different. Dare as coffee.
Raygun.
Like
Telstra.
I thought.
Yeah.
She'll be on so many ads.
Oh, dancing. Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I thought? What really showed me, do you know the most elite performance I saw around Raygun was within seconds, it just shows you on the level that they're working, is Inspired Unemployed were fucking immediately in a video with her.
Yeah.
Like, how did you do that?
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
Were they over there already?
Yeah, dancing with her.
Wow.
And I was like, how?
Yeah.
How you guys are working on another level of social media engagement? Absolutely. Oh, so you were 11 and so you just worked to it from there.
Yeah.
The hockey, we had a friend at high school who was a hockey freak, like obsessed with it. You probably know him. But like, what's it like being a hockey person field hockey person in Australia?
It was different, I think, earlier on. I think it's very different now to when I played because we had the golden era. So like 90s and 2000s, the girls were winning gold medals and the Hockey Rouge were really strong brand. It's a really different thing now because we've got women playing footy and league and cricket and all these things. So that's kind of then getting taken up.
It's diluted.
It's diluted who's playing. It's diluted where the attention's going to. So I think it's very different from when I first started to what it looks like now. Growing up now, it's a very different thing, particularly in schools. Like we had 6 hockey teams, or a bunch of hockey teams, and now in a tiny little school, now they probably have 1 or 2. So it's a very different thing now, I think, and that comes from Sydney Olympics. The Hockey Rouge won gold, the Kookaburras won bronze. Playing hockey wasn't like abnormal, whereas now it's like, oh, okay, you play hockey. You know, it's a bit different now. It's kind of really gone to a second, I hate saying it, but a second tier.
There's just more things happening.
Exactly. And I love it because it means that there's a big progression in these male-dominated sports in things that I would have loved to play. I would have loved to have played cricket and I would have loved to have played footy, but we couldn't. And it made people did play, but it was abnormal. Now it's not.
Yeah. And so, what was it like playing? Was it your focus Olympics every 4 years, or was it like state hockey, or what was it like? Playing at the top level.
At the top, you're focusing on every 4 years, which is why I ended really quite young. I ended at 27 because I'm like, fuck, I do not want to do this for another 4. I would have maybe done another 2, but I don't really want to do this for 4 years. I'm tired. I'm sick of traveling. I'm sore.
Yeah.
So you kind of focus on 4 years when you're at the top level. When you're a bit lower, it's probably year by year like it is in other things. But the Olympics, it's the peak and pinnacle. And so it's why a lot of people stop after the games. And you might sneak it out to a Com Games, but even then you're like, oh, it's just 2 more years. I'll do it again.
So there'd be a lot of people like now who are sitting there going, I can't do that again. Or the other way, they're like geared up and they want to go right now.
And I think it depends on what their experience was at the games, whether they were disappointed in how they went, nearly missed out, whether they it did really well. Sometimes doing really well can be the catalyst for you going, oh, I'm done doing George Costanza, leaving. That's me, I'm done. Or you could do another 4 years because you're like, shit, yeah, that was so cool. I want to feel that again.
Yep. And so like the hockey roos now who were, and I'll say it, just robbed.
Absolutely. Right in front of me.
Literally right in front of you.
Right in front. And I was trying to explain this to a footy person yesterday. They were like, oh, but can one decision make or break a hockey game? I said,
yes.
This was that one. It was not a goal, firstly. And a goal in hockey is like the equivalent of 6 or 7 goals in footy. So imagine if one decision in your footy match gave your other team 7 goals, you'd be fucking pissed off. I was furious.
And I liked, well, did you see it, Tom?
No.
So do they call it VAR? What do they call it?
They call it just review system.
Can you talk us through exactly what happened?
So the ball was hit at the goalie. She cleared it out. There was a Chinese girl basically on the ground and it hit her thigh to the point that you could literally see her leg move. Her leg went bloop, slow motion, bloop, and then deflected and changed direction, and you're not allowed to play off your body. If she was standing up, it would have been considered high, but she was on the ground, so you can't play off your body. And the longer it went to the umpire in the field didn't see it. Okay, that's fine. Can't see everything in the circle. Goes up to the third umpire who took way too long. And the longer they take, you're like, okay, what are they not seeing here? And awarded this goal. And then they went 3-2 up or 3-1 up, and then hard to come back from there. Yeah. Like it's a really pivotal goal. And they're coached by an Australian, so supporter.
What I enjoyed about it though is I like that you could commentate as an Australian.
It's the best not having to do.
And you were pissed.
So pissed because it's the best bit about being an Australian feed. I can be way biased to us, but I think I'm not. I think I'm quite objective. I'm quite objective of when I'm looking at things and go, no, we shouldn't have had that. But in that moment, I was pissed and upset because it actually really affects the next 4 years for these girls.
I would love to see it in footy commentary a little bit. There's this, impartiality is really important, but I would like to see a bit more passion. At points, and that doesn't mean just going off and just like.
Well, that's what blues radio and stuff like that's so good, right? It's so funny, and it can only really work for those big clubs that have that big support network. I mean, no one's tuning into Gold Coast radio, are they?
I think they did it last year for the D. Oh, we were overseas on tour, so I missed it. But the D's did one for the game against Carlton where we got eliminated, and I'm pretty thankful. I think it was pretty grim, but that Carlton one. With Ange Christou and Pete and Sellers, Mark McClure, and fucking Dave Hughes, just like and Sellers just hating Dave Hughes. Have you seen that?
No.
He's like Dave. So Mark McClure was like an icon of Carlton from the 70s, and he's old bloke and had a gun, you know. And Dave Hughes is going, what is this? And like, it's a disgrace.
Dave Hughes.
And he just keeps going, it's a disgrace. And then like, it's like They need to do better. And Sellers just goes, you need to relax. That's the best. Like, who is this fuckwit?
But also, Hughesy is yelling at all moments of time.
Yeah, he's lost the plot. Yeah. He's like, I do not care for this man. I do not care to be. And Ange Christou quietly just sitting there going, okay, all right,
calm down.
But yeah, no. So it is very good for that. Like, I would prefer that over a normal call.
Oh, I think so too.
And with the new rights next year, I think they should do that. We should pivot. So then you stop and then you get the chance to do a season of footy.
I did 2 seasons of footy. Then I broke my foot when I was there, which I remember getting the phone call from my doctor. I was like, hey, man, how are you? And he goes, yeah, I'm pretty good. Your foot's not. Are you sitting down? I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like,
that's a bump. Were they the Collingwood doctor or like?
Yeah, Collingwood doctor. So I had like about 9 months with that. And I was just like, I am tired. Yeah. I'm sick of being poor, by the way. You was earning no money.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I doing? I do not want to rehab again. I was like, this is it. Time for me. And it's hard transitioning sport at 30. I was like, I'm tired. I'm not that. It's shit being the shit one.
Yeah.
You know, like
particularly when you've come from
I'd gone from being one of the best ones to being one of the shit ones. I'm like, I really can't be bothered being shit anymore. So I was like, I'm just going to go and work and try my luck at that.
What was it like? Because that was in a period where there were lots of women coming from other sports, whether it was Gaelic or it was field hockey or it was basketball. Was there a vibe of everyone's just giving it a crack, or like was like what did it?
I think when I was there was these old school girls who were playing footy when footy wasn't cool to play.
Derby Falcons.
Yeah, and I think that they kind of looked at people like me of like, you're only doing this now because it's a thing. You don't actually like this. And I think there was a bit of a rift there.
Yep.
The young kids now, firstly, everyone's playing. It's much harder to do what I was doing now unless you're 6 foot and like really athletically gifted. You're not going to do it at 5'3" and rolling around.
It's already at that level.
I think so because the kids are better. And like the kids are playing from when they're kids. Like they're pure footy players now.
I was going to say there's kids now who would have been, who were drafted, who were 10
playing Oz. Yeah, exactly. And they're playing Auskick, and so they're learning. The thing is, they're still young, so you can't have a whole team of 20-year-olds.
No.
That would be bad. But the development of them, so the next 10 years, I think it's going to be a very different game. But it's going to be really cool to see that because you watch them and they're like, oh, they're actually good. They actually know what they're doing with their skills. But I think there was a big rift between the older ones and the ones like me, because like my job was to not necessarily play. My job was to be like, hey, you need to learn how to run. Come run with me. Come do this with me. Come to the gym. Like I was there to teach them in a way of how to be an athlete because it was my job. Yeah. So I go, okay, cool. So I remember one girl going, oh, like, what are you doing an extra bike session for? You're at the front of running. I'm like, yeah, I'm at the front of running because I do this. Do you want to come and join me?
Right.
So like they don't know these kinds of things. So I was there to teach them. So it was an important thing for us to be there, but I don't think they liked us being there because they were like, but we did this. We did this. Yeah. You're just jumping on what we have done.
Yeah, right.
And if you took a spot from them or were playing ahead of them, they didn't like that. And so I think that a lot of them have moved on and got taken over by the young kids because it was always inevitable. But it was a funny little place.
It would have been a weird transition period where all of us there was a period where no one was talking about it. It was no coverage of AFLW at all.
Yeah.
And then one day that year, when it first came in, and then the Icon Park was full, and
they brought it forward because they were like, "Oh shit, cricket's about to do a WBBL. We've got to beat them." So they brought it forward 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So and then thank God they did because we wouldn't have had Erin Phillips play, for example. Wouldn't have had Daisy.
Yeah.
So thank goodness they did bring it forward.
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, so they brought it forward because of the basket because of the
compete with
cricket. Because of course AFL wants to be first at everything, even if they don't do it properly. Wow. They want to be first.
What do you feel like? Do you feel like it's expanding in the right way now, or do you think it should be doing something?
There's so many things that I've got questions on that I don't know the answers to. That's what's really hard. Like, is August the best time to start? I don't know. It's crossing over with the men's finals, so I don't know. What if you've got the choice? Even me as a consumer, watching a men's final or a women's first round, and I'd like to think if roles were reversed, I'd rather watch the women's final than a men's first round, right?
Yeah.
So it's this. They should be getting priority of time because it's in their finals. Of course, that is more important than round one. So when is the best time to play? It's the first question. I think that's really hard. The expansion of the comp, everyone questions that of, is it too many teams? The thing is, if you're a Hawthorn supporter and there's no Hawthorn in there, we're so parochial, they're going to go, well, I'm not interested. They're not going to follow Melbourne. No, you're not. It's actually illegal in this state to put on another team's colours.
For sure.
So, like, you have to have all these teams, and so they had to just go throw them all in, and so then let the teams...
Despite the fact, maybe the list...
Maybe there wasn't enough, it wasn't enough depth. But I'd argue there's too many men's teams.
Yeah.
Like, really, the bottom 10% of every club could probably go and make smaller competition and it'd be a higher
Super
standard.
Clubs. On it launching in August, remember them saying the large reason for that was the buy round being it would get fresh air for its opening round.
Yeah, the wild card.
Yeah.
Like, they're like,
wild card round.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going, but we just missed footy. Wouldn't it be great to have footy on? I'm like, there's fucking 9 matches on. And so it's completely defeating the purpose.
Yeah.
But then the other end of it, we're playing our grand final in round 1. So then the grand final gets washed in round 1 talk. Yeah. So I've really struggled to find when the time is right for it. And so I'm not smart enough to tell you when, but I do know that there is, for me, as someone who even works in the industry, 9 games is too many, let alone 18. I don't want to watch 18 games of footy.
No. I think the W rounds is probably closer to what it should be. We're probably a few more for W, but get it up to about 15 or 16. Or you play everyone once.
Everyone
the 17
rounds. That's perfect. Yeah.
But I remember last year, actually, I saw each other at a W game in Icon last year. I would argue that August to and through in November is a nicer time to go out to football and sit at an oval in the sun.
You're not there rugged up pretending that everything's okay in June.
Yeah. I was speaking to someone at a club in Clubland, that's what you say, recently about that the W last year had 92% or something crazy new people attending.
Yeah, I love it. But when people go there, they're like, oh, this is awesome. Firstly, beers are usually a bit cheaper. It's way cheaper to get in. It's at the old cool grounds.
Yes.
So like
there's a local vibe.
Great for like it really is great for families, but also you don't usually have the big loser behind you yelling.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like, oh, okay, that's I'm a bit angry about that, but then they stop. Like it is a much...
And I did say sorry about that when I was at that game.
It's a much nicer environment to be in, and like that stops... It's the same as like a Matildas crowd.
Exactly. Well, we had a university lecturer who Dr. Casey Simons, who focuses on fandom.
Yeah.
And how fandom is different. And there's this mentality with, well, she talks about it in more detail, but there's this obsession with the W needing to replicate how the men's is played and how it's perceived and how it's written about and how it's talked about. But it doesn't need to be that at all.
No. I say this often. I go, you thinking it's going to be a men's game is what's actually ruining it for you.
Yes.
Because you go in and you're expecting a Jeremy Howe mark.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a Jeremy Howe mark, but what you're going to get is some really big tackles.
I thought
that's awesome. So don't go in, like, it's all about expectation management. That's how to be happy in your life. That's all it is. Expect your boyfriend's going to be home at 12. If he comes home at 11, you're happy. You know?
Yeah.
3 and 1. Like there's expectation management is key to happiness.
It is the skill level. The grand final last year, and that North Brisbane game is one of my favourite games of footy in the last 12 months. It's the characters in both of those teams were fantastic, and it was a brilliant game. And exactly.
But same as scores, expecting it to be 100 plus scores. Firstly, I love that people expect to be really high scoring when until last year it was literally half the game time. Cool, fair. Like people are out to be angry, but they're not the ones that are get you wanting to convert. It's like the far left, far right. They're not ever worth worrying about. It's this middle ground.
Yeah.
And they're going to be loud. Just focus on this middle ground and then bring them slowly over.
It's a different thing you can experience in a different way. It was like when the Tillies were getting pumped by whoever they were getting pumped by in that game when they allowed...
In the Olympics.
Yeah, and they went down, but I can't even remember who they were playing.
4-0 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you pad to the crowd, and it's just a lot of people in Tillies jumpers having fun. And you're like, they're not Carlton fans. They're not me at Port Adelaide, Melbourne going, fuck, I want to die.
But isn't that nicer?
Yes.
My God.
If you go and see a movie and you take from, I love that and I felt this and it made me think this, that is entirely valid as someone else taking completely different things from the movie.
Also, I love going there and it being over in an hour and a half.
Yes.
Oh, how much better is that?
Shit, yeah. And food trucks. Anywhere where there's food trucks over Delaware North or whatever.
I think food trucks are overrated.
Okay.
Because don't you get overwhelmed by A, the amount of options, and then B, they're always so expensive for really small amount of food.
Yes.
That's true.
I would like 2 options. I would like and a Mr. Whippy kind of situation.
But they're so expensive now.
Mr. Whippies.
So expensive.
Well, at our old office, there was an old man who
in a Mr. Whippy sounds
knew that I was a fiend for it and would come past like every day looking for me.
He'd park out the front and wait for him to come in.
What's your go-to? I used to go sherbet with a flake in it.
Yeah, soft serve with a flake probably.
You did the chocolate dip.
Chocolate dip, like a choc top situation.
Yeah.
But then
how good was Wendy's back in the day?
Oh shit, yeah.
Do they exist?
No, they're dead.
No.
Yeah, they were good. They used to be a good little treat after school.
Shit, yeah. And the aggro.
Oh, yeah.
You remember aggro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have Donut King now, which does some of the similar stuff.
Have you seen at Donut King? They're doing glazed donuts now, but they're doing them because like a Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
Like a Krispy Kreme. But they're doing it like because Donut King's good for the cinnamon ones. That they're fresh and they're cinnamon and you eat them.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You wouldn't eat as many because you're an athlete.
Mate, I was an athlete. I put on like 10 kilos when I finished.
Great.
It was awesome.
Good
I
to
get
hear.
donuts every time I go to the MCG. I used to live in Richmond and walk down and get donuts and
From
walk home.
that van?
Yeah.
You're a hypocrite. It's a van.
No. Yes, but it's not a food truck.
Yeah,
and it's
that's
only
true.
serving one thing.
And they are so good. It's the ones in between
Next to
gate 1 and
MCC.
2. Yes.
Yeah.
They are crispy.
Yeah.
And they have the Nutella ones.
They're fucking sick.
And they do a good coffee.
Oh, do they? Anyway.
Thanks for coming in. That was a good round. We must have you back again to have more thoughtful conversation. We've talked for an hour, pretty much. Georgie, thank you so much for coming in.
I don't think we got through anything that you wanted to talk about.
Paul Giamatti, yeah. Sean Wren, fruit flies. It's all there. Thanks for coming in, mate.
No worries.
And bounce that pill.